Welcome to the last video of Chapter 8. This video we're talking about fixing old sites. The first thing you should do whenever fixing an old site is remove depreciated attributes. All of these attributes can be replaced by CSS, and yes, that includes the border attributes. As I said before, this should only be a temporary basis for you to see how the data is separated in rows and columns, because as default, HTML tables do not show a border. That way, by using the border attribute, you can see how it's separated. But again, do not put this in production. You should always use these attributes to be replaced by CSS. Don't use these things in a table tag because again, they can be replaced by CSS. So, basically, whenever you see a depreciated value such as this, please remove it. The validator will give you a warning, if not an error, saying that, hey, this attribute is no longer valid. Please use CSS. Well, you don't know CSS yet, so if you see these, figure out how they can be replaced, if they need to be replaced, and in most cases, they should be replaced. However, that does bring us to our next section of fixing layout tables. This can be a little hard to do because if someone has an old website that is designed using a table, then it's not exactly the best thing to have because it's a little hard to work with. First thing, always replace the content with divs, asides, sections, mains, or article tags. Basically, you want to recreate the layout with CSS. This may take a bit of time. You want to optimize the content with semantic tags because tables for layouts for websites is so 1990s, and this is at least 20 years past that. So, on top of everything, rearrange the content as necessary, and this can take hours to fix. If you're going to update a website that has tables for the layouts, make sure you dedicate enough time to do so because otherwise, it can be a long and tedious process to replace all that content with the necessary tags and reorganize it. There are plenty of websites out there today that still use tables as layouts, and they shouldn't, but they do exist. A very famous example out there is the Space Jam website. If you have a chance to look up the Space Jam website for the original movie, it is certainly something to look at because it uses a lot of tables and is, well, very, very outdated. For example, you can see this right here is a TD or a table data cell. It uses some outdated attributes and therefore is not exactly the best thing to use. And yes, this website does still exist. This says copyright 1996, hence the reason it uses tables. But tables nowadays as layout devices for websites should not be used. So again, this can take hours to fix. So that is everything for Chapter 8. I know this chapter was a little short, but the concept of tables is a very basic but a very critical aspect to learn when developing websites. If you have any questions about this or anything in Chapter 8, please send me an email or hit me up on Twitter and I'll get back to you with answers to your questions. Until then, please take a look at the Code With Me videos so you can see how to use tables and the proper use of them in actual content.